Okay.
Not like a big. I just like that.
We probably need a little bit of refresher. So let's go through these problems together. And tomorrow we'll be having a little quiz. Let me say that again in case you weren't listening. Tomorrow we will be having a little quiz. Huh?
No, you just said Friday.
Friday.
I just hear that. My bad.
We have a quiz tomorrow. Okay? Over this. So let's practice it again. Nothing new here. Absolutely nothing new. We've done all this before. All right. So question number 1. Is it exponential? Why do you say that, Harry? Harry said yes, he's right.
Because there's a variable for exponent.
Look where the variable is. That means it's exponential. Is it growth or decay? Growth. What percent? 3% growth. Why is it 3%? Because this number is 0.03 more than 1. What is the initial value?
3.
All right, what about B? Yes. Yes, meaning it is exponential. Okay, growth or decay? What percent decay? 11% decay. Why is it 11%? Because this number is 0.11 less than 1. Initial value? How about C? Not exponential. So we can move on. Not exponential. D. Yes. Would you say growth or decay? What percent? 25% decay. And what's your initial value? 1/5. Does anybody have a question about that? Okay, what if on the quiz I got tricky and said, you write the equation. There's a 7% decay and an initial value of 12. Could you write the equation?
Yeah.
Y equals 12. 0.93. That's it. Everybody okay with that? How do we get 0.93?
Just use a jump.
1 minus 0.07. Right. Okay, now, what if I give you 2 points? Do you remember how to do this? We're shooting for this. How do we start?
I know you used the 0.
We use the 0. We start with the 0. So, the 0 point. So we put 4 in here and 0 in there. And then we remember that b to the 0 is 1. So this basically tells me that a equals 4. Now what? Do the same thing, but put in the other point. that would be that. Now, let's not freak out. How do we solve that? Divide by 4 or multiply by 1/4. That might be easier since they are fractions. So what do we get over here? 16 over 36. We multiply straight across. Does that reduce? Not 1/2. 4 goes into that one. 4 goes into that one. Jamal, what are you doing?
I was gonna calculate, I'm counting.
How do I solve this now? Square root. Don't forget to write your answer. Y equals 4 times 2/3 to the x. Remember, this was your goal. So we found A and B. B is the same thing. So here we go. We're going to be good at this. How do we start? So y equals a to the x. So -2 equals a times b to the 0. Which tells me what? It is not. Now what? -18 equals -2 times b to the -2. How do I solve that? Divide by -2. Uh-oh. What does b to the -2 mean? Careful. B to the -2. What does b to the -2 mean? Exactly. So this would be 1 over b squared. Negative exponents mean 1 over. Now what? I probably wouldn't square root just yet. You could. I prefer to get that b by itself. So what do I need to do? I need to multiply over to here. What? I'm going to get b by itself. Now I want 1 over b. I want b. So now what? And now I'll take the square root so that b equals what? Not 3.
How about 3?
Oh, wait. 1 over 3? Don't forget, write your answer. Y equals -2 times 1/3 to the x. anybody have a question about that? Everybody know the strategy you're using? Okay, sneaky people. Let's look at all these exponent problems. All right, here we go. This will be no calculator tomorrow. So you're not just going to type this in, you got to figure it out. So what do? This negative flips it over. And then we have to cube everything. So what's 3 cubed? And don't forget 2 cubed. There's your answer. Any issue with that? Here comes the one that sometimes we get caught on. We talked about this a lot a couple days ago. Mr. Brokaw? That's the tricky part. It doesn't become 1 over. It's 4 over x cubed. Because this exponent only goes with the x. So only the x goes to the bottom. If, John, it had been this, then the whole thing would go down. This is the answer right here. Negative exponents go to the bottom, but only things with negative exponents. The 4 doesn't have it. See that? Where is this guy going to go? He's going to go to the bottom. But wait a minute, aren't there already some y's in the bottom? So there's 5 of them already down there. When you bring these 3 down, what are you going to have? 8. These come down and join those. What about my x's? What's going to happen with them? Nothing's moving, but you've got 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom. What happens? They cancel? And what are you left with? 1 on the top. Don't you dare be confused by that. This is XXX over XX. Good grief, you've been doing that since 4th grade. Now, what is that? What am I supposed to do with that? Square everything. So this would be 4 and 9. X squared and y to the, be careful, 16. It's y to the 8th times y to the 8th. 8 y's times 8 more y's. How many is that? 16. Any step there confuse anybody? Well, y'all act like you couldn't possibly think of a place you'd rather not be more. But we do have a quiz tomorrow, so I need you paying attention.
It's over this whole page, right?
Huh?
It's over this whole page.
Yeah.
So it's 8 plus 8 instead of 8 times.
Because again, Jamal, just think about what you're doing. You're taking y to the 8th times y to the 8th. This is y. That's y negative. Then I have another one of these. So what would I have all together? That's it. Don't be confused, figure it out. Okay, 27 to the negative 2/3. What's that negative exponent do? 127? What does a 2/3 exponent mean? Take the cube root and square it. So this means the cube root of 127 squared. What is the cube root of 1/27? Not 3, 1/3. And 1/3 squared is 1. Again, kids, no calculators. You gotta be able to do this with your exponents.
So when you're doing the like square root or the like when you're gonna take a root of it, you're trying to like figure out like what you're gonna take. You always like look at the denominator.
Okay, what's a negative exponent do? Negative exponent, John? 16 to the 1/2. And what does the 1/2 mean? Square root of 16, so the answer is 4. How about that? What does that mean? The 1/4 exponent. Fourth root. What's the 4th root of 16? What times what times what times what gives you 16? 2. So the answer is 1/2. What's that mean? Square root. But before we square root, let's take care of this in here. Okay? So somebody said the y needs to come down. When it comes down though, kids, it's going to make a total of 14 down there. Check out your x's. X to the 4th in the bottom. Because you have 4 of them over 8 of them, you start canceling, you'd be left with 4 in the bottom. Okay, so here we go. This is the square root. Square root of 4. Square root of 9. Square root of x to the 4th. Now keep in mind, that means 2 groups. How many are in each group? So that's x squared. Think of y to the 14th. split it up in 2 groups. Each group would be 7. Bingo. Easy question. 8 to the 2/3 means cube root of 8 squared. What's the cube root of 8? 2. And 2 squared is 4. This one's a little tougher. We're going to start by writing it as 1/25. Why do we have to do that? Because it's a negative exponent. What does the 3/2 exponent mean? Square root cube. What's the square root of 1/25? One-fifth cubed means 1/5 times 1/5 times 1/5. That's going to be 1/125. Now the whiny ones among you are saying, oh, I don't know. Work it out. 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. We are not infants. We can do 5 cubed. (27/8 to the 2/3). What does that mean? Cube root squared. Cube root of 27. 3. Cube root of 8. 2. Now square it. Be careful what you get. 9/4. Now these are 2 separate things. Deal with that first. What's that? 1/5 squared, and 1/5 squared is 1/25. 1/25 times 4/1. Multiply across. My answer would be 4/25. I do these separately. What does this mean? What's that mean? Square root of 100 x to the 6th. 1/2 exponent means square root. Square root of 100. All right, now think about this. You have 6 x's. Taking the square root means split them up into 2 groups. How many would be in each group? 3. X cubed. 10x cubed. Any question about these? They go through any of them too fast. I don't want to do one from tonight's homework because it's written differently. So if you would open up to page 4. 296. Problem number 19 says we have this table of values. Homework problem for you. It says use this table of values and write the equation of the exponential function. That means exactly what you're doing on your quiz tomorrow. This is page 296, problem number 19. The difference is what? We talked about this the other day. What's different about what you've been given? Well, you've been given 5 points. How many do you need? 2. So out of the 5, you're going to pick the 2 you're going to use. Well, which one do you know for sure you're going to use? You're going to use this one right here to start with. So 2.3 equals A times B to the 0. So A is 2.3. Everybody okay so far? Which means you now have y equals 2.3 e to the x. This is where we are. Now you need another point. You can pick any one of those you want. But the easiest one would be this one. Because 1 is the nicest number to have other than 0. So if I pick that point, 2.875 equals 2.3 b to the first. Yeah, you can use a calculator for this. What do I do first? Divide. Very good. So the first thing we're going to do is divide. Oh, and that's going to give us our answer, isn't it? 1.25. Do not forget to write your answer. Y equals 2.3 times 1.25 to the x.
On the quiz tomorrow, they're going to be like that too.
No. The quiz tomorrow is going to be like the worksheet. This is a homework problem, but because it was written differently, the skill is the same.
Right.
Right? You know how to do the skill, but it was written. Anybody have a question? Okay, then I'm going to give you some to practice with your partner, and as soon as you and your partner have finished these, you can begin tonight's homework. Here are the ones I want you to do. On your paper right now, take out a sheet of paper, find a place to write these down, practice quiz. down. As you get these figured out, come on, put the answers on the board. Hurry up with your partner.
I'll write them down. Right, as we go. Okay. So 3/4. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna flip it, right? Yeah, right. This is gonna be 4/3 square. So you're going to take the square root of 16 and then you're going to put it in. Okay, I don't know. You can see it. What'd you say? No, because oh my god, ow. Did you hear that? That hurts so badly. Oh my goodness. So it would be 2 1/2 because it's a denominator. Yeah. So she said that if it's on the denominator, like for the exponent, then you're gonna take the square root of what's on bottom, and then you're gonna cube, or you're gonna like root. Does that make sense?
Really bad. No, I'm actually going to like you should show so she told me that the previous senior was
Alright, so the square root of 16.
She said it was 2 6. I was like, yes, I used to be out of a test, but I don't.
Square root of 16.
Yes.
So y is 3. So then you're going to
Cube it,
that.
that's going to be 16.
4.
It should be
54.
I just want to make sure I'm right. If I'm right,
See how it did.
60. I knew that 50, that 5 in the front didn't make sense. I was like, wait.
Okay,
It
so
did.
Okay, so 5/8. I swear my mom should do this. She's dusting with my mouth about it right now. You can do it if you want. No, I'm just like tired.
It's a tired
Yesterday, I can't speak English. Yeah, I completely understand.
Even though, like, I know I can
Alright, for this one too, it would switch because the X is the only thing that's going to drop to the bottom. So it would be X, it's the third.
Yeah, this is the back. Yeah, you're right.
And then that's all you do.
Yep.
And then 5 is very difficult. So you're good with the word. That's not the word well, good job, man. I'm about to just go up there and do it. I know, number 6. Do it. I just go look at the team.
No, I have one.
Put it in your class.
Really sexy.
Yeah. I would have played
I can switch back.
Switch back.
It's like Katie and myself. We don't do anything else. Yeah. You're just staring at his perfect face. And then he's got
Alright,
I don't think I spoke it.
You did. It was right. I think that's what we said earlier. I don't know.
so far, everything is perfect on the board. We have one more to go, and then I want to hear your questions.
I was gonna have you go through that.
You have an assignment tonight, it's in the book. And you have a quiz tomorrow over this kind of stuff.
Oh, I should have done this 7.
Okay, I have to pull out my sweater. Pull out my
Shut up.
Any questions?
Nice try.
Don't even
Bravo.
I have some pretty nice.
I swear. I hate it.
Brown and